Hundreds of years ago, in the time before Islam, a legend walked the sands of Arabia. His name was Andrew ibn Shaddad, a man of immense size and even greater courage. He was a warrior, a protector, an absolute force of nature. But this fearless man had one vulnerability, a love that consumed his very soul. Her name was Abel, a woman whose beauty was said to captivate all who saw her. Our story begins as Abel, a radiant woman of 24, returns to her people, the tribe of Abs. She had been visiting her cousin's wedding among the Hawazin tribe, and now her caravan was winding its way back home, to the lands of El-Sharba. Leading this caravan, entrusted with its safety, was none other than Antar. As he guided them through the desert, he sang. His deep voice carried on the wind, weaving melodies of fierce battles with the tender refrains of love, his heart's song dedicated to the one who rode just behind him. Finally, the caravan reached the mouth of their home valley, with a gentle command. Andrew made his own camel kneel. He walked to the ornate litter, the enclosed carriage where his princess, Abla, rested. He pulled back the curtain, his rugged face breaking into a rare, soft smile. "A noble abode, Abla," he said, his voice full of warmth. He offered his strong hand and helped her down from the litter, a moment of quiet connection between the warrior and his beloved. Immediately, Abel's aunts and cousins rushed forward, surrounding her with joyful greetings and eager chatter. While Abel was enveloped by her family, Antar mounted his powerful war horse. His duty was not yet done. He rode in a wide circle around the valley, his sharp eyes scanning every rock and dune. He was the protector, the guardian, and he had to ensure the entire area was secure. As he rode, a familiar bitterness crept into his heart. He was Antar, the mighty warrior whose name struck fear into the hearts of his enemies. Tribes across the land knew of his strength and bravery, yet, here, among his own people, he was seen as something less. He was the son of Shaddad, a respected leader of the Abs tribe. But his mother had been an enslaved woman. Because of this, he too was considered a slave. This status was a constant, stinging reminder of his place. He was forbidden from openly loving Abla. Her father, Malik, a man of high standing, would never permit a mere slave to show any interest in his daughter. Her brother, Amr, was even more hostile to the idea. So, Antar had to be careful. He kept his distance from Abla's litter, circling the camp from afar, making sure no one could whisper that he was getting too close, that he was forgetting his station. The injustice of it all weighed heavily on him. He was the shield of his tribe, their greatest champion, yet denied the most basic right to love the woman he defended with his life. His heart ached with a sorrow as vast as the desert itself. Lost in these dark thoughts, Antar's patrol was suddenly interrupted by cheerful voices. A group of young women from the tribe, including Abla and her cousins, had come looking for him. They had been listening to his songs from the caravan and were captivated. "Antar," one of them called out, "sing for us. Recite your poetry. We want to hear more of your verses." The request was innocent, a plea for entertainment from the tribe's famous poet warrior. But for Antar, it was a complicated moment. His gaze immediately sought out Abla, who stood among the group, her eyes watching him with a quiet curiosity. He remained silent, his pride warring with his longing. He couldn't just perform like a court jester. He looked at the eager faces, but his answer was not for them. His eyes stayed fixed on Abla. "I will not recite a single word," he declared, his voice firm, "until my lady Abla gives me permission." A hush fell over the group. All eyes turned to Abla. This was a bold move, a public declaration of her authority over him, a subtle challenge to the social rules that bound them. Abla, feeling the weight of everyone's attention, gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. A small smile played on her lips as she spoke. Her voice clear and melodic. "We wish to hear you, Antar. Recite your poetry." That was all he needed. Her command was his inspiration. His entire demeanor changed. He stood taller, his voice booming across the valley as he began to chant his verses. He started with what he knew best, cattle. He painted vivid pictures with his words, describing the clash of swords, the thunder of hooves, and his own prowess as a horseman, weaving through the chaos of combat like a desert hawk. His voice was strong, confident, the voice of the warrior everyone knew. But then, the theme of his poem began to shift. The battlefield faded away, replaced by a much more intimate landscape. He transitioned into the realm of love poetry. The ghazal. His verses began to praise the beauty of his beloved. He spoke of her grace, her noble character, her high lineage. He didn't say her name, but everyone knew who he was talking about. As he spoke, a powerful transformation came over him. The fierce warrior seemed to melt away. His body began to tremble, and his powerful voice faltered, becoming thick with emotion. He turned his body slightly, his gaze locking onto Abla, as if he were speaking to her and her alone. The crowd of young women faded into the background. It was no longer a performance, it was a raw and desperate confession of love, laid bare for all to see. The girls who had requested the poem were stunned into silence. They had asked for a song, but they were witnessing the bearing of a man's soul. They saw the mighty Antar, the invincible knight, completely undone by his love for Abla. He spoke of her dark eyes, her gentle smile, and the pain of his own yearning. The air was thick with a tension that was both beautiful and heartbreaking. In that moment, in the middle of the desert valley, under the watchful eyes of her tribe, Antar the slave declared his undying love for the princess he was forbidden to have. The story of their love, a legend of courage both in battle and in heart, was just beginning. If you were captivated by this glimpse into the epic of Antar and Abla, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Your support helps us bring more of these timeless stories to life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter.